Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Operation PaperDrip. Today we are talking about cancel culture and the power of being offended. As always, my name is McQuik, and this handsome fella here is Uncle Hack. So you made a couple jokes, and some people got a little offended.
Yeah, no. A few folks didn't like what I had to say 2 years ago and resulted in me having the opportunity to make new friends.
Open yourself up to a new audience.
Yeah. You know, a lot of folks that didn't know who I was now know who I am.
Growing up in a small town, how did being offended work for you?
Usually it resulted with okay. And that was it.
Yeah, for me it was if somebody said something out of pocket and it upset me, I would talk to them, but then if there was no solution, I just move on with my life.
Yeah, I don't really recall any moments where somebody was trying to use that as a stance to take in my youth. It seems to be more popular now, as if, I don't know, that one singular being's emotions outweigh the masses on how they feel about something, and you spend more time trying to persuade people to feel offended on your behalf, and then that causes an eruption of well, we're all offended.
Well, it's nowadays people think that there's some sort of social currency, and they feel like they gain currency by being outraged and upset, and then they feel like they become a good person or a better person for calling out other people. And
yeah,
but we're all sinners. We all got dirt under our nails, and you can't make your entire career about tearing down other people.
No, and that seems to be what's popular right now, is trying to destroy all around you. That someone is trying to create something and it may not be for you, and you will never attend this event. You'll never, I don't know, go see this person live doing whatever art that they have. But in your mind, I don't like that, so no one's allowed to like that. And
well, it's like with Tucker Carlson, with all these people, anybody that does a public speaking or creates something or writes and shares their thoughts, some people are going to disagree with those thoughts, and those people are right to do that. Everybody's allowed to have their own independent thoughts. Everybody's allowed to take in what they want, and if there's something they don't like, that's why your eyes close. That's why you can turn your head and watch something else. You don't have to, because you don't like something, because something doesn't speak to you, you don't have to silence that voice. Everybody should have the right to express themselves. And the thought that you're more important, that you are right and they are wrong, and that you should not allow those people to have ideas is a scary thought.
yes, and you know what? Even if I don't agree with the event, for instance, there was this just happened in Thunder Bay, is that a drag time story hour was going to take place, and they had to cancel due to bomb threats. Because people are threatening to blow up the venue, they have to remove that event. Now, this is a perfect example of yeah, sure, maybe I don't agree with that, but there are people that are I'll take my kid to go let a drag queen read Green Eggs and Ham. Who gives a shit? You're not going to take your kid there. You don't have to take your kid there. And who are you to threaten an establishment with violence?
Yeah.
You know, these, which in the most part are empty threats. And you scare people into not allowing whatever is going to take place because you disagree with it. I don't agree with that at all. That's the one thing. Yes, you are allowed, I believe in a free society, allowed to go and stand outside of that establishment and have your voice heard. You can scream at the brick wall all you want. But to threaten people and, cause damage to whatever, whether it's physical harm to a human being or a violent act towards that building.
Yeah.
I don't condone that at all, even if I disagree with the sentiment that's taking place in there.
It doesn't matter what side of whatever sort of culture war you're on. The people calling in bomb threats to minimum wage ticket office, ticket box, those are never remembered as the heroes. Those are never remembered as the good guys. And even if you go, oh, I'm stopping these pedophiles, or oh, I'm stopping these racists, and you're patting yourself on the back, you're not doing anything. You're not creating anything. All you're doing is creating a divide between two ideas. And like, there's different ideas that are right. There's young kids in the city who want to grow up to be a doctor and do good. And there's young kids out in the country who just want to work on their parents' farm and get food to people and just make an impact. And both those people vote very differently, think very differently, but fundamentally they're both good, but very different. And the thought that you have of, oh, well, this person's doesn't know because they haven't lived my life, completely takes away from the idea that you don't know because you haven't walked a mile in their footsteps. And at the end of the day, people threatening people for thinking differently or presenting differently or anything, there is a ruling class. There are the lawmakers, there are the incredibly wealthy people of influence in all countries across the world that just are robbing everyone blind. They're stealing futures from left and the right at the same time, and they love nothing more than people going at each other's throats.
Yeah. And that right there, like what you're explaining too, and like to attach onto like the bomb threats, is just another reason that these guys can, like the powers that be, the lawmakers, the politicians can then push through these bills that will not only rip more rights away from human beings because we're too violent to be out in public, and then that right there is like, well, like the Bill C-63 with the Online Harms Act. Now this right here is like exactly what they want you to do, because you're falling right in the trap of being like, well, online is a very scary world and we need to censor it, we need to clamp down on it. This makes it more appealing to the masses that, look, if we are able to control this, then this doesn't exist on these platforms and people won't be able to do this or cause any harm online. And it furthers that bill going through. So you're essentially helping this pass muster.
You're basically voting more chains on yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. And whether you disagree or agree with it, you can peacefully protest. There's nothing wrong with peacefully protesting.
And you can't donate money to peaceful protesters or they'll freeze your bank account. But other than that, yeah.
So we're on a slippery slope, and I don't think that people have zoomed out just enough. Even like step back and just get a glimpse of just a portion of the picture that's bigger, because we're doing it to ourselves by this nonsense that's taking place.
Yeah, and if something we said offended you, that's your problem. You can't walk around with a raw nerve to the world and expect everybody to change because of you and your mental illness. Everybody's allowed to be offensive. Everybody's allowed to be wrong. Okay? Get in the comment section. Let us know what you're wrong about. Let us know what offends you. And give this video a like, a subscribe, and share it with your aunt.